when you read it slowly and you pronounce it, you can actually hear the meaning. Anyway, so Rabbi Lazar tells to Rabbi Yochanan, Hi shlamim uvlad ha'olah, our Mishnah. He pronounces the mother shlamim, and the offspring he pronounces an oila. Reb Meir says that doesn't work. He says harei ze vlad shlamim. He says the offspring is a shlamim. The problem is, visal kadaitach shir meshuyer, if you say that he could have left over the fetus, harei ze vlad shlamim, harei ze shlamim boy misna. Reb Meir is making it look that the reason why it's a shlamim is because it's being born from its mother. That's a shlamim. According to Rabbi Yochanan, the reason why it's a shlamim is not because of its mother. It's because it's two separate entities. It's not a vlad shlamim. It is a shlamim. It's he consecrated too. According to Rabbi Yochanan, you could consecrate the mother without the child. Now that you consecrated both, so you have two separate chatayos we're talking about, or shlamim. But the wording that Reb Meir puts it is that you consecrate the mother, and then you try to consecrate the offspring as a oila, so it says it's an offspring of a shlamim. Should have said it is a shlamim, according to Rabbi Yochanan, because it's two separate entities. Amar Rav Tavla, bar mina dahi. Bar mina means like that one belongs outside. Like don't take that one in. Amar Rav Latana. Rav already told the Tana, which means the one that would quote the Tanaic statements by heart. He said, Tani, you can't teach it the way you're teaching it. You have to teach it, Harezu Shlamim. Take out the word Vlad and say, it is a Shlamim. So in other words, you're quoting an unedited Brisa. When you look at the edited Mishnah, when you look at the edited version, it actually is correct and it fits with Rabbi Yochanan. Meisvei, the Gemara has a question. This you're going to like. Someone tells his maidservant, Harei shifcha, you remain a maidservant, uvladach ben chayron, but your offspring goes free. Im haisa ubra, if she's pregnant, so zachsalai, so she acquires the emancipation for the offspring.
Just because you said it.
Yeah.
Where's the Kenyan?
Yeah. So maybe there's a star here that he's handing to her. Because usually it's called a get shikra. Usually there's a star here.
What do you mean she acquires it? She acquires it on behalf of the offspring.
Yeah. Now there's a problem in general. I'll read the Gemara, and you'll see the problem. There's a problem with a slave going free, because everything that the slave acquires belongs to the master. So when you give to the slave his deed of manumission that he's now free, so who acquires that?
Slave.
The slave, and it belongs to the master. So he never really gets free. So the Gemara discusses this, and the Gemara says, Gitei v'yodei ba'im ke'achas. It becomes simultaneous, that as both things happen at the same time. Somehow he's able to be free at the moment that he's getting it, and that freedom that he has allows him to acquire it. How does that work? Only if he's becoming free. Now we have a woman that her fetus is becoming free. Is she her fetus? If she has some freedom here, because she is her fetus, then everything makes sense. But if she is not the fetus, and the fetus isn't her, and look, I can't give to one slave a deed of manumission for the other one, because he has no freedom, that other slave. They say, acquire this for your friend. That's definitely not going to work. If I look at them as two different entities, then the mother. How can the mother acquire something? The mother's totally a slave, maidservant. She can't acquire. But if it's one, then I can say Gita v'yadi b'am kachas, that it comes simultaneous. Okay, look at this.
What if she's carrying twins and he says one of them is free?
Yeah, so probably the same thing would be the same halacha like this. It would
How
be
do
the
you know
same
which
thing.
one will be free?
There would probably be a suffix, like we have a chetzi eved v'chetzi ben chayr, and we have those complicated situations. You force the master. It's a machlekes beisil beishamai, but you force the master to let them free, so that they can, because how are they supposed to do mitzvahs? They're in this terrible state where they can't do anything. If we say that you can't leave it out, the offspring, like in a sacrifice, you can't leave it out. Why? Because because it's all one organism. Okay, the mother and the baby is all one organism. That's how she's able to acquire it. It's like someone is freeing half of his eved. And that works. You could free half an eved. Umani Reb Meir, and this goes according to the opinion of Reb Meir Kedetanya, someone that frees half his slave goes free. Why Gita v'yadimam kachas? Because his deed of manumission, his get. That's get is a term that's used also for a slave. It allows him to go free, just like a woman can go free and marry anyone that she wants to after that. So the slave goes free, and v'yadai. Yadi is referring to the fact that he's able to acquire it. Boim kachas, they come together. So if the mother is becoming free because she is one organism, one entity with the fetus, then great. But if you say that the two separate entities, he's able to leave out when he consecrates. Let's say he's consecrating an animal. He's able to leave out the fetus. It's not part of it. So. How does the mother acquire it? Tanya, it was taught in a Brisa, Nirin, she'eved zeichel lekabel get shichur shel chaver miyad Rabbi, she'ena shalai, v'lei miyad Rabbi shalai. It's possible that if there's two slaves, each one has a different master, that the master of one can free his slave by giving the deed of manumission to a slave of another master.
Are the masters partners?
No. But if he gives it to another one of his own slaves, then the slave that we're referring to doesn't go free. So here what's happening is, if the mother is a maidservant and the fetus is a maidservant, and they both belong to one master, so the master giving a document to the mother does not free the fetus. Elashmamina, we see from this, that if he leaves over an animal when he's consecrating the mother and he leaves over the fetus, it's not left out. It becomes consecrated together with the mother, because we need to say that it's all one organism, that it's all one entity. Or else the whole get, freeing the slave doesn't work. It's a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said that when someone consecrates an animal, a chatas, that's pregnant. It's as if he made two separate animals, chatos, and one of them is there just as a guarantee, according to what we're learning here regarding freeing a slave, that it's not two separate entities, it's all one entity. Or else he wouldn't be able to free the offspring. Okay, the Gemara says Tiyufta de Rabbi Yochanan. Tiyufta. This is a strong question on Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, now the Gemara says, Lema, let us say, Imshir Mashur Tanai, that it's actually Machlekes Tanai. The Tanya was taught in the Brisa. If someone tells his maidservant, it's this that we're discussing, can you leave over the offspring? That's Machlekes Tanai. If someone tells his maidservant, Hariat Bas Chayrin, you're free of Vladich Eved, and your offspring is a slave. So, Vlada Kamaya, the offspring is free as well. Div Rabbi Yosi Aglili. Rabbi Yosi Aglili says that. Chachamim Maimer and the Chachamim say Dvarav Kayamin, that no, the offspring is a slave. Mishum shenemar ha'isha v'yoladea tiyeh la'adana, because we have a pasuk that says that the woman and her offspring belong to the master. I guess because it has these two verses, it has these two phrases in the pasuk, the woman and her offspring. That means that the offspring could remain servants even though the woman would not be. The Gemara asks, Kra, my Talmud Rabbanan. What does the pasuk do for the rabbis? I guess that the Gemara is looking at this and says, 1 second, it puts them together. The rabbi said that they're separate. The pasuk puts them together. Amar Rava says, Kra Rabbi Aglili. The pasuk's not explaining the rabbis. The pasuk is coming at the end as a footnote, but you have to look up, and it's actually explaining Rabbi Aglili, the Ktani Vlada Kamaya. The pasuk is a proof to the first opinion that says that the offspring is free, just like the mother. If the mother is a slave, then the children are the slave. If the mother is not, which is in our case, the children are also free. So now the Gemara says, "My love b'hakamifgi." What is the machlekes Rabbi Yossi Aglili and the Rabbanan? Rabbi Yossi Aglili savar shirei eni meshuyer. Rabbi Yossi Aglili says that you can't leave out the offspring. Now, this would really make sense. For Rabbanan Savri Meshuyer. And the Rabbanan hold that no, that you can leave over the offspring. Now, if you look back, the Rabbanan said, Dvarav Kayamin, that you can separate it. It does fit.
What's happening here is the fetus, one's looking at the fetus is really separate. It's not like part of the mother. But the moment it's born, it's like a bechor, it attains the freedom state. So it's not that it attained the freedom state
right
while a fetus, it attained it the second it was born automatically.
Yeah, I don't know if we have to, if we're getting into the if it happens when it's born. We think we're looking at it. Do you say that they're two separate entities? So they're not two separate entities. Rabbi Yossi Aglili says that they're one entity, and the Rabbanan say that they're two separate entities. And that would be the machlekes, the same machlekes. This is sort of a question on Rabbi Yochanan, because Rabbi Yochanan said that they're two separate entities. And now we say, 1 second, it's not so simple. It's machlekes tanaim. So the Gemara says back, Amalach Rabbi Yochanan would say, the kuli al mashir mashuya. Everyone really holds the two separate entities, and you could leave one out. If you want to consecrate one, you can leave out the offspring. But the reason here is I have a special pasuk. But when I don't have the pasuk, in other cases, that's not referring to a slave, then I could leave one out. When I have a pasuk, then I have the opinion of Rabbi Yossi Aglili, who says that you can't leave it out because the pasuk puts them together. Let's say it's according to the next Tanaim, new machlekes, the Tanya. It's taught in a Bais, Shecheres Achatas. Someone slaughters a Chatas. Umatzaba ben Daled Chai, and you find inside the Chatas a living 4-month-old, did it take 5 months? There's one that was 4 months.
We had this discussion.
Yeah.
Something takes 5 months. Is it a goat or
could be
something?
So it's 4 months. So we have two opinions
Sheep and
here.
goats are fully developed in 5 months.
What do you do with this animal that's inside? You just found it inside. It's a ben pekua. So what status does it have? Is it a chatas? It wasn't born. Back to what you're saying. Maybe it only becomes a chatas when it's born, or do I say that automatically if the mother's a chatas, it's a chatas? How does this work? So tanichada ein nechel sel zichrikun bein nechel sel yemech bein nechel nimanaklan. First price is it's a chatas. It's It can only be eaten by the kayanim. It can only be eaten in a certain amount of time that the chatas is eaten, and it can only be eaten in the courtyard. Other Bais says no, it's not a chatas at all. It's a regular mundane animal. It could be eaten by anyone. My love tanoi. It must be that this is the machlekes.
Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I finish this off?
Yeah.
The Tanakama Savar, this explanation here that we're about to read is extremely complex. It's exactly the opposite of what we would have imagined. Tanakama holds, you have to drop the word Eily, and it goes like this. Tanakama Savar Shir Meshuya. The first opinion that says that it's a chatas, they hold that you actually can leave out an animal. You can leave out an animal when you consecrate the mother, you can leave out the fetus. But they're saying the fetus is a chatas. So they hold that the Tanakama holds Shir Meshuya, that you can leave out, and therefore Umar Savar Shir Eina Meshuya. Another one holds that you can't leave it out. Now, you could have left it out, but because he didn't, so it becomes kodesh. It becomes independent. Oh, he could have left it out, but he didn't, so it becomes kodesh on its own. So it's an independent chatas. The other Tana holds that you can't leave it out. So then why isn't it a chatas? It's because it only becomes a chatas after it's born. So it's like it's left out, but you can't leave it out. If I would have said it the opposite, it would have been clearer. But here, it's saying that it only becomes a chatas after it's born. So we have a machlekes tanoim. Is it a chatas or not? Is it shir meshuyat? And Rabbi Yochanan didn't seem to mix into the machlekes tanoim. He just chose one side. He says that you can always leave out, because when you consecrate a chatas that's pregnant, you have two chatayos. So Amalach Rabbi Yochanan says the kuli almim shir meshuya. Everyone holds that really you can leave it out, like I hold. So what's the machlekes over here? V'hani tanoi b'hakam yiflagi. The machlekes here is different. Marsav of bloody kadashim b'aviyasan in kadashim. The machlekes is, when does it become holy? When it's born, or marsav of bloody kadashim b'yiman in kadashim, or is it holy when it's inside, when it's in the uterus, when it's developing? And that's the machlekes where one brisa says that it's considered a chatas and one brisa says it's not. I can answer it differently as well. Here is where it became pregnant later. It becomes pregnant later, then it doesn't become kodesh until after it's born. Or is he consecrated both of them after it was pregnant. That's where Rabbi Yochanan says that both of them are consecrated. Maskif la Rava. Rava has a question. It says, "Mimai the time of the Rabbi Yochanan shir meshuya." How do you know that this is Rabbi Yochanan's reason, that you look at them as two separate entities and you could leave one out if you wanted to consecrate it? Dilma in the time of the Rabbi Yochanan, the other miskaper b'shvach hekdesh. Maybe it's one entity, and Rabbi Yochanan holds that you can use either the base or you can use what developed. And you have two choices. Why are you making it like this? And then we end up with a question about the Eved. We even said Tiyufta, Rabbi Yochanan, Tiyufta. Such a strong question on Rabbi Yochanan. You have to say that it's one entity. Why do you have to say that Rabbi Yochanan holds that it's two entities, and then we have a question on it? Say that it's one entity, and Rabbi Yochanan holds you can use the base, or you can use what developed after. Amar lei Rav Hamnuna. Rav Hamnuna responds to Rava. It says, Rabbi Lazar Talmidi de Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Lazar is the student of Rabbi Yochanan. He's the one that asked the question. Yosef lekamei de Rabbi Yochanan. He asked Rabbi Yochanan the question. He did not answer the answer that you're trying to give. And you're trying to give an answer. That the answer that wasn't given. It must be because that's the reason for Rabbi Yochanan, that you look at them as two separate entities. Okay, we can leave it over there. We'll do the rest. Right before the Mishnah.